there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. Somebody say water.
Water.
For the angel went down at a certain, somebody say certain time unto the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first, after the stirring of the water, was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain, somebody say certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, do you want to be made well? Do you want to be made well? That's enough. Today we want to talk about certainly it's me. If you have been paying attention over the last couple of months, I am convinced that we deal with things in 3 different ways. We deal with things mentally, we deal with things physically, and we deal with things spiritually. If you haven't been paying attention, let me bring you up to speed. They had the WNBA draft for 2026, and they showed various women being able to fulfill a dream that they've had since they were little girls to become professional basketball players. And they showed the vast number of women who were being drafted, and they all celebrated differently. Some were emotional, some showed it physically, and then the family shows it spiritually. If you have not been paying attention, they also had the draft for the NFL. And they showed a lot of men who grew from boys with this dream of playing football on Sunday. Some dealt with it physically, some dealt with it emotionally, and the family dealt with it spiritually. I keep saying family because you're going to get me in a minute. So certainly, when we are dealing with the man at the pool of Bethesda, who has so many reasons he don't want to be well.
All right.
Because I have learned in life, we deal with things in 3 ways: mentally, physically, and spiritually. If we deal with things mentally, a lot of times we get in our own way because we think the things that we have been doing wrong for so long are the right way to handle the situation. So many times in our own families, arguments will break out over nothing. Because of the mentality of the people involved in the situation, a molehill becomes a mountain. Because certain, that word is again, certain people have not accepted the understanding that there is something bigger than they are. If we deal with things physically, I'm guilty. Because all of us have been in a situation where if nobody was watching, I would slap you across the street and let you know that you ain't my mama, you ain't my daddy, and I ain't always wore this suit.
All right.
We family, right? We just talking about what we're talking about. And there are certain people who feel that way. Even when they get older, the mentality doesn't change. The physicality doesn't change because they deal with everything the same way. Then you get to us. If you are a believer, then you understand all things are possible. I missed y'all. Let me bring you back. The word says at a certain time, then it says a certain man, and then it says another man who is living water walks up on, y'all missed it, walks up on a porch beside some water that's waiting to be stirred so he can get in. But when you talk to him, he's like us. We got more excuses of why we can't, or why it didn't happen, or why we weren't available to receive the blessing. Y'all need to write that down. Why wasn't I available to receive the blessing when the blessing presented itself the first time? Because he asked him, he says, do you want to be made well? It don't say what was wrong with it. It says that Jesus saw him and that he had been in that condition for a long time. How long have you been in your condition? Because certainly it's me. If you look at your neighbor and say, certainly it's me, I want to be blessed next. I want to be healed next. Reverend Anderson, I want to be made whole next. If he's making you whole, and I'm standing here, I want to be next.
Heavy blood, heavy.
So many times we try to attach ourselves to other people when the relationship that we have with God is personal.
Right.
Because if you look at the text, it said a certain man. It didn't say a certain people. If you put yourself in the text, I'm this certain man.
Right.
Let's take gender out of it. I'm that certain person.
Right.
I've been waiting for this, and I saw him coming. I'm not waiting for nobody to stir the water. I see water coming. Because then the word said, if you drink this water, you will never thirst again. So I got water coming, but I'm waiting for somebody to stir this water that's been sitting here all year. And then how many people been in it? How long, help you Jesus, how long have you been sitting on the porch that you're on, waiting for somebody to come by and say, take up your bed. You don't have to be on this porch. You don't have to be here anymore. You don't have to hear what you're hearing anymore. You don't have to listen to what you're listening to anymore. You don't have to say what you're saying anymore, because there is a man named Jesus that just stepped up on your porch. And all he asked you was, do you want to be well? Do I want to be well mentally? Do I want to be well physically? Do I want to be well spiritually? Pastor Nola, I am convinced that if my spirit is sick, it's not too long before my body is sick.
So,
I am convinced that if I'm mentally sick,
Lord have mercy.
it's not too long before my body and my spirit get sick. I've been in many doctor's offices where they told me something that I didn't want to hear. But when I walked outside of the office, my spirit said yes.
All right.
because I knew better than what they were telling me.
Yeah.
Because the porch that they were trying to put me on, I didn't take no bed with me. I didn't take no blanket. Somebody need to tell their enemy I didn't come to stay.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just passing this way. This is just a season. Because certainly I want to be next.
Yeah.
If you watch the drafts, every time they called out a number, those that had not been picked, their facial expressions changed just to wait to hear their name.
Right.
And one day, God is going to call your name. And it won't be, do you want to be well? It won't be, do you want to come?
That boy.
Some of us are so afraid of being blessed that we have accepted our condition of infirmity as a way of life.
Yeah.
You're not blessed because you're blocking your blessings. You're not blessed because you were the person that was chosen to break the generational curse.
Come on.
And because so much weight comes in the form that you don't have to carry, you think that you're responsible for it. But if he chose you to break the generational curse, he's going to carry the weight for you. So certainly, I want to be next. In whatever God is doing in this season, I want to be next. Certainly, I want to be next. If he's healing in this season, I want to be next. Certainly, I want to be next. If he's giving out promotions this season, I want to be next. Certainly, I want to be next. If he's putting food on the table, certainly I want to be next. If he's putting clothes on my back, certainly I want to be next. If everything is falling apart around me, but he's still in the blessing business, certainly I want to be next. Because a long time ago, I heard there was a man from Galilee who was giving sight to the blind and raising the dead. And he was healing people's bodies. So certainly, I want to be next. Don't walk around me with your sad face. Don't walk around with me with that woe is me attitude. Because certainly, I want to be next. So I'm going to act like I'm next. I'm going to act like I'm about to be blessed. I'm going to act like Jesus died on the cross for me. I'm going to act like he shed his blood for me. I'm going to act like I'm there. So certainly, I wasn't supposed to, but I was told I was blessed. And because I was told